Hello, let us continue our discussion on wireless LAN. In the last session, we have seen that access point uses point coordination function, which is a contention-free service, whereas stations use DCF, that is distributed coordination function, and it is a contention service. Controlled access methods are used by access points, and hence we say access point uses polling access method for PCF, whereas stations use random access MAC protocols, one of which is CSMA-CA, which we are going to study in this session. CSMA-CA is one type of random access protocol where CA stands for collision avoidance. In wired networks, CSMA-CD is widely and popularly used Ethernet protocol at MAC layer. However, we cannot use CSMA-CD, that is collision detection technique, in wireless networks because if you remember, collision detection technique is based on sensing of the channel and listening for the collision signal. If collision is detected, then some corrective action is taken, so the retransmission is taking place. In wireless networks, it is not possible to detect the collision in all the cases. Because of the path losses or attenuation when the signal travels in the wireless channel, it is not possible always to detect the collision. And that is why instead of detecting the collision, collision avoidance is used in wireless LANs. And collision avoidance protocol is known as CSMA-CA protocol. Let us begin with the discussion on the CSMA-CA operation. Initially, backoff time is set to 0. We know all these terminologies, so I am not repeating those. Here also we are using persistent strategy as this protocol uses CSMA techniques. One of the persistent strategy out of one persistent, non-persistent or P-persistent would be used in this case. After doing so, when the stations are eligible for transmission, still they do not immediately transfer, they wait for some time, which is known as DIFS time. IFS stands for interframe space, which is a waiting time between two signals. Using these IFS, various types of IFS, collision avoidance is achieved. So DIFS stands for DCF IFS. Now these random access techniques, one of which is CSMA-CA, is used by the stations. When stations are implementing DCF, they would be going for use of CSMA-CA. And that is why stations which use DCF are waiting for DIFS time. After waiting for that time, if still the station is eligible to send the data, then RTS signal is sent. RTS is request to send signal. In CSMA-CA, we exchange handshaking signals, which are nothing but RTS and CTS. RTS stands for request to send, which goes from source to destination. If destination is ready to receive the data, it will send the signal clear to send, which is nothing but CTS. So when station sends RTS, after that it will set a timer and it will wait for CTS to be received. If during that much time CTS is received, then station proceeds further, otherwise stops. If CTS is not received, then it goes directly. It considers this to be unsuccessful. It will increment the backoff time depending on how many times it is already retransmitted. It will wait for a backoff time, appropriate backoff time. If maximum backoff time is reached, it will abort the operation. Otherwise, it will wait for that much time and then it will again proceed to look for persistent strategy for retransmission. If the CTS is received in time, then station has to wait for SIFS time, which is nothing but short interframe space. Between any two signals, for some IFS time, the station has to wait, and this short interframe space is one of them. After waiting for that much time, the frame is sent. Again, the timer is set for the acknowledgement. If during the timeout time, the acknowledgement is received, obviously the communication is successful. If not, again by incrementing the backoff and waiting for a backoff time, the station prepares itself for retransmission. So this is the whole operation of CSMA-CA. There is one hitch here. If access point and station wants to send the data at the same time. If access point wishes to send the data, obviously the priority must be given to the access point as it is a central controller and controlling the communication between various stations. So to give priority to access point, instead of waiting for DIFS, access point waits for PIFS time. P stands for PCF. So instead of DIFS, we have PCF IFS for which the access point waits. However, station will still wait for DIFS time because it is implemented with DCF. And that is why by keeping PIFS smaller than DIFS, we can give priority to the access point. Let me summarize this part. If access point and station want to send the data simultaneously, where access point is using PCF and station is using DCF, whenever they are eligible to send the data, before that they will have to wait for certain time. Access point will wait for PIFS time, station will wait for DIFS time. Now by keeping PIFS smaller than DIFS, we can say that access point's waiting time will get over earlier, and that is why access point gains the access of the channel. And so this is how the priority is given to access point. So this was all about the CSMA-CA operation, or the protocol which is used in wireless LANs. CA stands for collision avoidance. With the help of handshaking signals and with the help of various IFS, collision is avoided. Thank you.